Love over there, Jonathan. Thank you. Well, calls for Utah Senate President Stuart Adams to step down are coming in after recent reporting from the Salt Lake Tribune suggests Adams had an undisclosed personal connection to a bill passed in 2024. Now, our Jordan Tracy joins us live in Mill Creek after speaking with Senator Nate Bluen. He's the Democrat who's calling for Adams to resign, who, of course, is a Republican. Jordan, walk us through all of this.
Yeah, Lindsay, I'll certainly try here. Follow along with me, folks. So the Trib reported just a few days ago that Senate President Stuart Adams had a personal connection to a case back in 2014 where an 18-year-old was being charged for having sexual contact with a 13-year-old. Now, Senator Adams then had a conversation with Senator Kirk Cullimore, confiding in him about this connection, and that is what bloomed Senate Bill 213. Which would allow an 18-year-old who was actively enrolled in high school to be charged as a juvenile instead of an adult. But in the Tribune report, they claim that it was not a retroactive bill, so it had no impact on this case, and that he had nothing to do to push this bill. So the question is, a lot of lawmakers, especially in a part-time legislature, have a lot of connections to people. They talk to people every day and come up with bills based on personal experience. So I asked Senator Nate Bluen, who is pushing for Adams to resign, what is the difference in this case? He says it's transparency.
If there had been an acknowledgement in the moment that this was a personal issue for someone, I think that would have probably been a whole different conversation. And you know, maybe it's one we could have figured out in legislation.
Now, President Adams releasing a statement, and we're going to give you some of that in part here. He says, quote, Senator Nate Bluen's recent attacks exemplify misleading political grandstanding fueled by misinformation and deliberate distortions. He continued saying, contrary to fabricated and baseless claims, the law is not retroactive, does not alter the legal age of consent, and does not apply to incidents of rape, aggravated sexual assault, or offenses involving force, coercion, or threats. Now, the calls here originally coming just from the senator himself. He tells me it wasn't a coordinated effort by the Democratic Party, but he had been hearing from constituents and other members of the legislature talking to him about this, and that's why he decided to come out and call for this resignation. But now we're learning that Brian King, the chair of the Utah State Democratic Party, has joined those calls, as well as Councilmember Johnson from the Salt Lake City Council. We'll continue to track for you as more calls come in and how the Senate president reacts. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Lindsay.
All right, Jordan, one we'll be following. Appreciate your coverage there. Well, now to this.